Welcome, fellow travelers, into the dark. Welcome to Nightmare Haunting Hour. Tonight, we delve into a legend whispered across generations, a tale that has chilled the blood of millions. Have you heard this one? The story of the weeping woman? La Llorona. It's a name that echoes from the bustling streets of Mexico City to quiet towns along forgotten rivers. A name that brings a shiver even in the brightest daylight. Prepare yourself. This isn't just a story, it's a warning, a promise of a terror that waits just beyond the veil of night. Tonight, we explore the legend of La Llorona, the mother whose grief became a curse, forever bound to the water's edge. Deeply rooted in the soil and soul of Mexican folklore is the tale of La Llorona, the weeping woman. It's a story passed down from parent to child, a cautionary whisper on the wind. The warning is always the same. Never go near the river at night, especially when you hear the crying. Because she is waiting there, La Llorona, forever searching. In a small town nestled beside a winding river lived a boy named Carlos. He was 13, full of restless energy and the boundless skepticism of youth. Ghosts? Spirits? Old wives' tales, he'd scoff. He didn't believe in any of it. The world was what you could see, what you could touch. One evening, Carlos stayed late at a friend's house, the laughter and games stretching long past sunset. The quickest way home was along the riverbank path. Despite the old warnings, Carlos felt no fear, just the impatience to be home. He started his walk, the river flowing dark and silent beside him. The path was narrow, winding between thick brush and the water's edge. The air grew cooler as the night deepened, carrying the scent of damp earth and river water. Carlos walked briskly, whistling a tune, trying to ignore the growing silence around him. The usual night sounds seemed muted, swallowed by the darkness. Then he heard it, a sound that cut through the quiet like a knife. Crying. It was the sound of a woman weeping, a mournful, desolate sound filled with unimaginable pain. It seemed to drift from the river itself, carried on the cool night air. His whistling stopped. His heart began to pound against his ribs. This wasn't the wind. This was something else. He strained his ears, listening closer. The crying grew louder, closer. And then he heard the words, a heart-wrenching lament spoken through sobs. Ay, mis hijos, dónde están? Oh, my children, where are they? A cold dread washed over Carlos. He knew that voice from the stories, he knew that cry. He looked towards the river, towards the sound. Through the swirling mist that hugged the water's surface, a figure began to coalesce. She was tall, draped in a flowing white gown that seemed soaked and heavy. Her hair, long and black, clung to her face and shoulders, dripping water. He couldn't make out her features clearly, but he saw the dark hollows where her eyes should be. And he felt their weight. She was staring directly at him. Terror seized Carlos. Every fiber of his being screamed at him to run. He didn't hesitate. He turned and fled, his boots pounding on the dirt path. He ran as fast as his legs could carry him, away from the river, away from the crying. But her voice followed him. It wasn't loud, not a shout, but a chilling whisper that seemed to coil around him, right inside his head. You heard me, the voice hissed, mournful yet possessive. Now I've heard you. He ran until his lungs burned, until he burst through the tree line and onto the familiar streets of his town. He didn't stop until he reached his front door, slamming it shut behind him. Carlos was changed after that night. The light seemed to drain from his eyes. He became quiet, withdrawn, jumpy at the slightest sound. He started seeing things, a flash of white in the corner of his eye, a tall, dark shape in the shadows of his room. He saw her reflection in mirrors, fleeting glimpses that vanished the moment he turned his head. He saw her in his dreams, standing by the river, her face obscured, her cries echoing in the darkness. His mother noticed. She found him sitting alone in his room, whispering back to someone she couldn't see. He would answer questions she hadn't asked, respond to a voice only he could hear. He was talking to the weeping woman. One morning, Carlos wasn't in his bed. His parents searched the house, then the street, then the neighborhood. He was gone, vanished without a trace. Carlos's disappearance sent a wave of fear through the town. It mirrored the very legend that had haunted their nights. La Llorona, the story said, cried because she had drowned her own children in a fit of rage or despair. Her eternal wail was for her lost sons and daughters. But the legend had evolved. Or perhaps the entity had. Carlos wasn't the first child to disappear from that town, not since the crying had started being heard more often. Another child, a little girl, had vanished by the river a few years prior. The chilling twist to the old tale is this. La Llorona is no longer just mourning. She is seeking. She is not merely a spirit bound by guilt. She is a malevolent force, forever searching for new children to replace the ones she lost. Or perhaps to share their watery grave. She is always listening, waiting for someone to hear her cry, waiting for someone to acknowledge her presence. And once you do, you are marked. So heed the warnings. They are not just stories to frighten children into obedience. If you are ever near the water at night and you hear the sound of a woman crying, turn back. Walk away. Do not look towards the sound. Do not try to see her. And whatever you do, do not answer her cries. Do not let her know you hear her. Just run. Run and pray she didn't hear you first. Some legends, my friends, are more than just stories. They are echoes of something real, something ancient and hungry. Your instincts are there for a reason. If a place feels wrong, if a sound sends a chill down your spine, listen to that feeling. Not everything in the dark wants to be understood. Some things just want to take. Stay safe out there. Be aware of the shadows and listen carefully to the night. But know when not to listen too closely. Did that send a shiver down your spine? Did you feel the cold breath of the weeping woman? Let us know in the comments below if you've heard this legend before, or if you have your own local tales of La Llorona. If you survived this encounter and want more stories that crawl under your skin, please give this video a like. It helps us know you're out there listening in the dark. And for a new dose of dread every week, be sure to subscribe to Nightmare Haunting Hour. Join our community of fear enthusiasts. Until next time, sleep tight if you can.